my name is Sam. Welcome back to my channel. It has been a minute since I have been here. We don't need to talk about it. Frankly, I don't even know who we are because there's probably not anyone here anymore and I'm just screaming into the void. But that's fine. Rather than talk about the reasons for my extremely lengthy absence, instead I thought maybe we could talk about books and also about my goals for reading and for this channel for the next year. The first thing I wanted to do was kind of go over some of my reading stats for 2023 and then go through my top 5 new to me books that I read this year, because as of filming today it is December 30th and I really doubt I'm going to finish anything else in the next day because I know better. I read 37 books in 2023. I will say of those books, 21 of them were rereads because I was doing a lot of comfort reading this year. And so I really only read like 16 new to me books. So coming up with the top 5 was, not that difficult. 57% of what I read this year was audio, 32% was digital, and 11% were print books. Because I am a audio and Kindle person kind of through and through. Storage space is just like a real bitch sometimes, it's just a real bitch. As a result of that, I am going to put up pictures of all of the books I talk about in this video because I don't actually have physical copies of most of them. So my top 5 new to me books in 2023 were, and most of these are in no particular order. I will say the top 2 are absolutely the top 2, but the others were all a very similar star rating for me. Coming in at number 5, but like I said, not really in any particular order, we have The Woman in Me by Britney Spears, which is Britney Spears' memoir going over her childhood, early life, and then largely the years in her conservatorship, which to me was just like really fucking heartbreaking, what this woman was living through for all of these years, especially because the media was really portraying her in a way that she was unstable and unfit to be an adult human, which is fucking wild to think about. And it was really just nice to read all of that from her perspective and finally have her kind of put that information out into the world on her own terms. And actually the day before it was released, the book was released, I went to see the early 2000s masterpiece Crossroads starring Britney Spears in theaters because they did a special re-release, and 10 out of 10. And number 4 that we're going to talk about here is The Album of Dr. Moreau by Daryl Gregory, which is a short novel or a novella that is sort of a spin on The Island of Dr. Moreau, which is an H.G. Wells book. But this was about characters inspired by The Island of Dr. Moreau that were in a boy band in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then they're in a hotel on one of the last nights of their farewell tour, and they end up at the center of a murder investigation. And so it's the story of them and also the story of the detective who's trying to solve the murder. And then you have the added layer of the detective's daughter being a super fan of the boy band. And it was just kind of a fun, wacky little romp that was a cute little nod to a classic horror sci-fi story. And that's my shit. And then number 3, we have Mosaics and Magic by Nancy Warren, which is the 14th, I think, installment in the Vampire Knitting Club cozy mystery book series. And say what you will about the genre as a whole or about the premise of these books, which is literally a witch and a bunch of vampires who get together and knit and solve murders. I love them. I'm obsessed with these books. They're so fun. And then these last 2 are absolutely the top 2 of the year. They were my only 4.5 or 5-star reads for the year that were new to me, so that's just something to keep in mind. But coming in at number 2 is Uzumaki by Junji Ito, which was actually Baby's first manga. I had not read any manga prior to this. That sort of came into my life because I was going to the movies with my husband. And the movie theater that we went to is in a mall. Truly a relic of a time in the past. But we had time to kill before the movie started. and we decided to go to Barnes & Noble. And he was like looking in the manga section, and there was like a Junji Ito art book, and I was just like, oh, this art style is like dope. This is exactly the kind of art that I really like to look at. And my husband was like, I swear I've told you to read him before because you like horror and because he's got like this really, like he's really well respected like horror manga writer, artist. And I was just like, you probably did tell me that and I just didn't remember. So I bought it, not the art book, I bought Uzumaki because that was the book he recommended to me, and read it, and I loved it. It was awesome. It's like, it's Lovecraft inspired kind of horror, but I personally do not love Lovecraft. I do think that this was done better than anything I've ever read by H.P. Lovecraft. And you know what? I'll fight people if they disagree with me on that. So, yeah. And then number one, my favorite new to me book of the year was Brace for Impact by Gabe Montesanti, which I actually bought on that same trip to Barnes & Noble. This is a memoir about a young queer person's discovery of roller derby and comeback from a grievous injury, and just a way of discovering like found family and finding themselves. And it was just like really well written. It was a fantastic story. It was like really uplifting while still kind of addressing some darker stuff. And if you are looking for a memoir that is both fun and also like super emotional, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It was awesome. Okay, so that's my top 5 books of 2023. And rolling right on through to my reading / like booktube-ish goals for 2024. The first thing is, of course, the like requisite yearly reading goal. And so my plan, my hope for 2024 is to read 60 books, which is a lot more than the 37 that I read this year. But I do have some personal circumstances that are going to be changing in the next couple of months that will hopefully allow me a little bit more mental capacity to read things, and to also read things that are new to me. So in addition to wanting to read 60 books for the year, I would also like to try to limit myself to only 20% of those being rereads. I may make some exceptions if I'm rereading for like the purpose of doing a review, not necessarily here, but on the other Booktube channel that I am a part of, The Drunken Library. You can see that linked in the description. We've been, I wouldn't say active, but we've been more active than I've been here in the last 2 years. So like, that's something. But I may make some exceptions to rereads for the purpose of doing reviews over on that channel. But for the most part, I would like to limit myself to about 20 to 25% being rereads, so roughly 15 books. And then my other main goal, I should say, I have 4 listed here, but like my other main goal is to return to Booktube and maybe figure out how fucking filming videos works again, because I literally don't remember how to talk to a camera anymore. I'm hoping to start posting videos here again. I am not going to hold myself to any sort of crazy, reckless obligation or schedule, but I would like to post like 1 video a month, at least to start. Like, it'll maybe turn into more, and if I get back in the groove, it'll probably turn into more, but I want to set a reasonable and doable goal. And especially since I legit don't know if anybody gives a fuck about Booktube or about this channel anymore, and I may just be screaming into the void, 1 video a month sounds fine for now, you know, sounds fine. And in those like 1 video per month, in my like sort of return to Booktube, one of my other goals is that I would like to continue my Sci-Fi for non-sci-fi readers video series that I started and that I was in a pretty good groove with for a while. I have got more genres to cover. I really, really want to do sci-fi for horror readers, because I think that's going to be kind of a mammoth of a video, but it's got a lot of potential. Like, there's a lot of crossover between those 2 genres, so I think I'll be able to come up with some really, really awesome recommendations. So I really want to do that. It probably won't be for a couple of months, because I do still have some like things in the works that need to shift around in my personal life before I can like really throw myself back into the old Booktube, but it will probably be like this spring hopefully. And then my last channel goal slash booktube related goal, because it's not specifically channel related, but it's to start engaging with other people's content more again. Because I used to be so involved with like booktube and the booktube community, and I was like talking to people through video comments, but also just like through social media, and like I had real honest to goodness booktube friends that I talked to regularly, and I simply haven't been doing that. So that is my sort of mishmash end of year best books of 2023 slash 2024 goals slash hi booktube I'm back, did you miss me video. Let me know in the comments below if you are still here, if you forgot I existed and then I popped up in your notifications and you were like, who the fuck is that? If you've been reading anything cool or good or interesting, or if you have any recommendations for what I should read, tell me a hilarious anecdote from your life or like a knock knock joke. Just like talk to me because I need attention. I'll see you all soon. All of my links are in the description. And yeah, have a great day, guys.